Hello and welcome to the stream. Yes, it is I, your Grandmaster. Or no, because camera's aiming at the desk and I don't stick my head down that low. So, yes, hello, welcome to the stream. I'm Madcat. Well, not Madcat. Madcat. And today we are doing some more arty stuff. I had an idea of what I wanted to draw, which was... It's an old idea. And I was like, oh, I could try and draw that on stream and see what I can come up with. And then I realised that the background would be a big problem. I don't want to spend all the time drawing the initial image to then mess up on the background. So I'm going to be doing some interesting tests on the background itself. So let me explain a bit further. What it is I've had a story idea in my head for about 20 years. Space-based. And one of the characters in there you've seen a lot of, which is Loyu. She, because of her heritage, sees things with her eyes, pick up different wavelengths to what humans do. So she likes to sit in the observation lounge in the ship and look across space because she sees interesting things that humans don't. We just see black with stars. She sees nebula and stuff like that. So I wanted to do an image where you get like a point of view behind her and Timberwolf in the observation lounge. She's sat there in utter awe and amazement over what she can see, and Timberwolf's just staring at a black expanse with a few stars there, and he's just sort of like jealous that he can't see that. Or not necessarily jealous, that's probably not the right word, but he wishes he could see what she could see. And in the background it would be a starfield which fades into, on his side it's what he sees, and then it sort of fades into what she sees on her side. I've never drawn a nebula on paper before. I've not even thought about trying to do it with Copic markers, so that's what I'm doing today. I want to see if I can do that. So I've gone on to the NASA website and I have found a particular image that I think could be kind of cool. Which is what they've titled The Wide View of Mystic Mountain, which is a Hubble telescope view of, did they actually say which one it is? The Carnian Nebula. So I'm going to try and draw something akin to that in the stream. It's not going to be a perfect match because I've never tried this before. And I've got to figure out how I'm going to draw a nebula on paper. So we shall find out. We shall test. Yeah. Without further ado, let us try. You can run off to that side and park there. Don't fall off that. Right, so let's get to a better zoomed in image. Because now you've got things the same way that I see it. Ooh, magic hands! Good evening, Jay. Thank you for popping by. I don't know if you caught all my preamble there of what my plans are, but yes, I'm going to try and draw a nebula. Or something spacey. It's probably not going to work, it's probably going to turn out horrific, and I'm just going to resort to getting the pencils and drawing a picture of Loyu, but, we'll give it a whirl, And I never get the camera set up the same way each time, because I'm sure last time I had it zoomed onto the paper and now it's got desk stuff. But who cares? Right. Also kind of fitting that I decided to do space today, considering the latest patch I got. Yeah. I think that paired with that one should be more than enough. Space! Yes, we're going to go to the one place communism has... No, not communism. Capitalism has not touched. Spice. You had any stomach issues lately? No, but I've been sneezing like a mad bugger recently. I mean, nothing overly out of the... well, nothing crazy, I should say. Evening, Volon. Welcome to the stream. Right, So let's start grabbing the colours and having a look to see what I can do. On the plus side, this whole nebula idea is probably going to use colours that I probably wouldn't touch otherwise, so... right. So, the image that I'm looking at... I don't even know if I should... Yeah, that criddle off my desk now. That dead spider. Well, whatever it is, it's gone. Let's see. Where's my test paper? Where's my test paper? It's going to be real useful for testing colours on here. I'm going to say, there's something else going around now that we've got to be aware of in terms of like sneezing, not sneezing, stomach issues. Or is it there's been like a massive case of human malware that I need to be aware of? Oh, let's just turn that on and see, does that... Oh, that's going to blind that out, never mind. Let's put it over there because I need to look at my... Oh, right, yeah, now I get you. Dude, I've only been awake for a few hours. Like, you know, this morning. I don't do that. Plus, it'd be more of a chesty kind of issue I'd probably have. Is that one? Y00? No, so let's have a look at what you look like. Ooh. You look almost green, which is pretty much what I'm after. Might be too green. Y02. You know, I'm going to have to put this light up. It's probably going to blind the camera a minute whilst it has to readjust to this, but I'm having trouble seeing what it is I'm trying to do. How did I balance this last time? Yes, it's balanced on my monitors and the tripod. Because professionalism, yo. Yeah, it does. Nope, that's one I've just tied. Y02 is that one. Yeah, I could do. So I'll take that one as well. Let's go for that. I know that's going to be okay. And then... Oh, oh. Hint of green. Might be too green. Let's have a look. Ooh, yeah, that's going to be too green. Might do. It's only going to be a bit of that. Let's try that one. Actually, yeah, they both will work, so that's YG11. Six. I'm probably going to need to actually make a proper sheet with the numbers on, and I'll just colour the boxes in, but this does for now. As you can see, that's my test for the camel pattern on that last image I did, where I was trying to figure out how to shade it. I literally did a quick redo of the pattern and then was just shading over the top to see what worked. I need a brown. Ooh, you could be it, actually. Nope, that's a grey. Well, that shows how much my eyes are working tonight. Put you over there. Champagne. E71. Sure, I've done you already. Yes, I have. Might do, but E47 is a better look. There we go. The difficult part that I'm thinking on with this is going to be where there's like a blue haze going over things. And I'm just trying to figure out if I've actually got Yeah, that might do for it. And then we'll try an orange. 16. Yeah, that'll do. Right. So let's see how much of a mess I can make with this. It's easy to see why in Gate they went with green on green, quite sad for the mahogany, considering how tone of it. Flectar, it reduced the colour load significantly. Yes, yes. Although I don't know if the actual camo pattern should be Flectar, isn't it? Like the Japanese Defence Force, I wouldn't say copy of, but it's very similar to Flectar. I mean, it's kind of thing, yeah, you could just wear Flectar and get away with it, but I'm sure what they have is different. Okay, so just find that one. Right. So, what did I have planned for this? Let's have a look at the large. What's it? The large image. It just lets me move it because, again, with my wonderful setup, I have the monitor there, tripod there. So it doesn't matter what I do. I've got a bloody tripod in the way, and I'm like, oh, that's not a great setup. Right, so I want to have. Let's start with that one that looks like it's in front. Oh, this is probably showing up at all for you because it's bloody light for me to see. What I'm doing at the current moment is, on the image that I'm using, it's like a yellow afterglow appears on the nebula. So I'm opting to try and recreate that. My hope here is that I can get it coloured so I don't need to actually use black. Crazy for a space scene, I know. But there is quite a bit of this that is actually coloured, but obviously it's all in the light spectrums that we can't see. Let's go back to the zoomed in image and have a look at what I'm staring at there. Yes, so that's probably too dark to start with. Yeah, it might be too dark to start with. Let's go to the next one. Feeling stellar, you say? Yes, yes. So what I'm trying to do, I don't know if you caught the initial blurb, is draw a nebula. Go to bed at night. Is that the same? No, it's not the same one. It's just very, very odd. So if that's the same one, I've just managed to pick it up again. Or that is... No, that is just really, really close in colour to that one. Which makes me wonder what the point in that one is then. Okay, stuff it. Go to the darker yellow. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Probably not well, but, you know, we don't know until we try. I just figured it'd be easier to do it without having drawn the rest of the image first, and then if I mess it up, I'm not like, oh no, I ruined an entire image. I can just be like, okay, that's a piece of paper down. Oh well, I've got plenty. Next. some there. I think a lot of the issues I'm going to have is a lot of what I can see here is blended. And I'm like, I can't blend. I really should have thought that one first, but oh well. So how is everyone this evening anyway? I hope everyone's doing okay. I don't know about being a braver soul, I'm just a bit more daft. I think most people who know how to use Copics probably wouldn't even touch an image of a nebula. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a whirl. How hard can it be? Answer, very. And, no, hold on. Mouse, work, damn you. Quack, damn you. Oop, not too far. Let's put the bit I'm looking at right behind the tripod. Not too bad, sorted out some matters earlier, lining up new retro build project, awesome. Is that another Spectrum build, or anything like that? Or are you going back to the microcar racing thing? Well, at least this colour shows up on camera. As I said, I was looking to do the actual image that I had in my head. And I was like, yeah, I'll get a pause done. And I was like, I'm not quite sure how to draw, the back of men. I've not really looked at it. So I was taking photographs on the timer of myself to try and figure out what my back looks like. And I was like, I'm fat. That ain't gonna work. Not specky, but along that vein. Oh, awesome. From serious post-work sleepy is also tempted to try out like I third, despite still having this event, which the music is still stuck in your head. I was gonna say, is Hollow Knight one of those another mobile game? There's so many of them going around at the minute. I forget which ones are which. Atari ST machine, but shoved in a PC case due to lack of parts. I'll just say it's a modern Atari. Let's use that one with a tad of green in it to... Looks like tad of greens. It is technically slightly greener. Slightly. Not by much. 3D action gacha game, as far as I know, I get on PC too. Same main source as Genshin, which I don't install on my PC. Ah, okay. Yeah, I've got far too many mobile games on the go at the moment, and the fact I don't have Wi-Fi in this room means that unless I sit upstairs in my bedroom, I don't really have time to play them. Because what I used to do when I was in the old room, I used to just, if I was playing another game, I'd have the gacha going in the background, and stuff like Azure Lane or Arc Knights would just running a attack whilst I was going because it had the auto battle, and just let that happily chug away whilst I was doing something in the game and occasionally pay attention to it. But kind of hard to do here because it keeps losing the Wi-Fi connection. Also, a little bit of positive news as well. Had my Aki Health referral come back, and they have greenlit me for returning. So my manager called me today to state that he's working on the return plan for next week. He just wanted me to know that it'd be probably a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and they'll be getting me back in to do work for the Deeds team, because it's admin based with no customer contact at the moment. I think I know what it is that they're going to ask me to do. I've done it before. It might be mind-numbing work, but you know what? I'll take it. At this moment is what I need. And then they'll do reviews with me every week, see how things are going, and yeah, we might end up getting back to normal in terms of work in a few months. It's just nice that I'm going to be going back in. Time away from work is great if it's planned and you know what you want to do, but if it isn't and you don't have anyone else really to easily chat to in terms of like face-to-face stuff, it can get a bit lonely. The reason I like streaming is I get to yabber to you guys, even if I am just yabbering to myself and I'm reading your messages. It's it keeps me somewhat sane, ish, as sane as I can be anyway. Right, take it slow and steady. Absolutely will do. Yeah. I have no intentions of rushing things, and my counsellor has been working with me to give me things to cope, to try and break the mindset that I've had for years on how to work. So I'm hoping to be a bit better at work. Couple accents couldn't help, but yeah, I know. I'm thankful I've got all you. It's just, yeah, there's times where it's like, it helps having the face-to-face. And yeah, it's kind of hard to do, obviously, with the current climate we're in. I can't help but sort of think it was like half my issue with deciding at the end of 2019, I'm going to be more social, I'm going to try and get out there. I'm going to be more social, I'm going to try and find me a lass. I should get someone who, when I go home from work, I'll have someone there to talk to, and then 2020 rolls around, I'm like, well, that kind of shot that plan, didn't it? It's like, oops, my bad. Right. So there's some wispy green shit, so let's try and do wispy green shit. It's very technical terms I'm using here, straight from NASA. I'm sure they don't actually term it wispy green shit, they refer to it as what kind of gases it is based on the colour spectrum, yada yada yada, but you know, I don't know that, I'm just going to call it wispy green shit, okay? NASA turned me down because I wasn't good enough. Ha, little did they know. I'll show them when I take over the world. Oh wait, wrong organisation. One thing that I liked about this image that I'm trying to replicate is there's a distinct 3D feel to it, because the way that the gas covers part of the nebula. So this part here that I'm doing is in front because there's like an outline around it that is of like this green bluey gas in the background that fades the rest out. So I'm hoping to try and keep something like that with this. I shall post a link up in Discord, actually. Actually, I can post a link up on the bloody channel, can't I? Doi. At least then you'll be able to see what it is that I'm looking at. Almost momentous. Yeah, there. Copy. Paste. Paste. Oh, evening, Saber. Thanks for dropping in. You're doing a ceiling cat. He can't help it, Jay. I've trained him well. The other advantage to doing this is that if this actually works, when I come to do the other part of the image, all I have to do is, I'd probably do it in separate pieces, but I could do the bulkhead, if you will, where you've got the viewing window, cut out the middle, stick it over the top, and then just get Lawyer and Timberwolf. I just need to sort of figure out a way of getting a fade over, because I said this side should standard stars black fading to nebula. So the blue goes over the brown in the image. Would that actually work? Honest Mementos. Test paper. I need you. When in doubt, test. Ooh, yeah, it's not going to go over that, I can tell. Alright. I'll let that dry off for a moment, and then I shall try whizzing with the paper, whizzing that blue over the top. In the meantime, let's give this a bit more gaseous look here. Let's just add a happy little tree here in the middle of space. I'm actually wondering if I've actually got any lighter browns. I don't think I do. I've got that. Brick beige. I'll keep that in mind. Oh damn, you're really going hard one. Oh yeah, yeah. I said I'm not trying to draw it exactly, but it's the inspiration is that. And yeah, I was hunting through the NASA website to see what I could find, and I was like, ooh, I like the look of that one. It's just with this, it's weird to remember that it's trying to draw not necessarily how my eyes are seeing the layers built up, but it's color layers. So what is darker goes on last. Otherwise, you can mess up the Copics. And that actually has more of a blue haze coming off the edge there. Okay. I think I've used too much green, but oh well. As it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just winging it as I go along. I'm actually going to put a blue. Let's give that blue to make that phase out there. So let's start here. Wispy tendrils of blue. I think of it as, I think blue is on the image is oxygen from whatever cameras they use to get it, so it's trying to think of it being blown in the stellar wind. It was interesting to read that the whole thing that they're looking at is like 3 light years tall. Well, just the scale of things in space is just mind-numbingly amazing. I like space. Space! I was half tempted to, you know, if this fails, I might actually see about drawing an image of Perseverance or Curiosity. Celebrate our robot overlords. Ooh, that's actually kind of useful. For once, I'm actually not too bothered about it smudging the colours out because it actually blends it in. Just got to remember to occasionally clean the green off. But as you can tell, I like picking the easy projects to have a tackle at. Get the Kentwood, I would say. Well, I don't have a blender, so we're okay. And I've got a blender pen, but I've never figured out how to bloody use the damn thing. So let's carry on with some more of these. I don't know how I'm going to do like the really bright stars. My initial idea was once I'd coloured it all in with like the dark colours, I was going to go over with my paint pen and just paint the stars in white, and then when the paint had dried, give them a colour tint. Also, it's just hit me. I should have used my early discussion about the size of space to use the whole space is big. Like, really big. Some people don't understand just how unbelievably big space is. The trouble with doing like the darker stuff first is with the markers, they'll pick up the ink and spread it around. Now, admittedly, yes, that's probably not an issue for this image, but it's more, I just don't want to ruin the pens too much if I can avoid it. But it's like here, I can actually, if I go over the darker yellow, I'll actually draw the yellow out. So if you've done it with light colours, you don't notice the actual effect of the paint drawing out too much. Whereas if you go for a dark colour and do it, you'll see quite easily where it's pulled through. And then the pen holds that ink on its tip as well, so you end up colouring as well in that. It's things like that they pick up when you use these damn things. They have weird quirks. What could work would be low lighting, then painting the stars themselves. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's if it's just white, I've got a paint pen that'll do the job just as well. And then, as I said, what I could do is go over them to give them the different hues that they might have. It's really weird trying to figure out where the lighting would be in this, because it's a cloud of light, effectively. And yet there's distinct areas that you can see have shading and all sorts of stuff, and it's weird. Fun to try though. Also, because you're not tied into any particular, shape as such. You just go nuts with what you can see. Stop squeaking. No, that didn't work. Something's rubbing against something on my desk. Oh wait, no, it's the monitor. I've just figured out. It's the monitor rubbing against the camera. Right. Just as I'm doing my little hand twitchy movements, it's just going squeak, squeak, squeak. Right, I'm tempted to go crazy and try this orange. Looks light enough. Let's start. This gets more brown as it goes up there, so I won't go too high with that. There's a little bit of it in here, so let's just give this a bit of red gaseous definition. forget again what this said the red was. Build up some here to pop that cloud face out. I miss school white. Or what they call it now? Was it bone white or something? Oops, that's on the wrong side. Not on that side. That's right, no one's going to notice. It's a stellar formation several hundred million miles away from us. 799 million miles away from us, but yeah. You can't see it with your own eyes, so it doesn't matter if I cut this up. Right, so let's add a bit of this orange in. I have a wonderful talent for being able to grab and open up the pen at the wrong side. It's not a great with Copics. I wish the lids had some kind of tactile thing on them where you could go, yep, that's the fine side, that's the one I need to open up. What are you? Are you a red? Apparently brown. Oh, that's what I was going to test. That should have dried by now. So yeah, you won't see it over that brown, but you will over that one. That's fine. So I can do it over the lighter brown. What colour brown are you? Ooh, it's a ready brown. I shall take the ready brown. Ooh. Probably shouldn't drink as much orange juice as I do, but yeah, I like it. The last rebuild of a movie dropped finally. Ooh, excellent. I might actually get able to actually watch them now that they're all out. I'll say that I'm only just starting to watch anime again. I have been watching that So I'm a Spider, So What? That's fun. Weird concept, but you know, it's anime. You get used to weird concepts. But it has Aoyuki acting as an adorable little spider. And those words I never thought I'd utter, adorable little spider. Although saying that, there is that actual real life spider that does that little funky dance. And that's like tiny little thing. I've also come to the conclusion that if more nature documentaries were done in the style of Visit Frank, people would actually pay more attention. It's just everyone would be walking around talking about babies. I'm just wondering if everyone's going to turn into Fanta again. Oh yeah, there's all the Nanoha movies as well. Oh, you need to catch up on them. Ah, okay, so 333 is weird, but apparently the 3.0 plus 1.0 explains why. So it's better for me to wait till it comes out and then watch them all at once. Or yes, he's gone off his happy pills. You know, one of the two. I still find it kind of funny actually that David Nealing's still a thing. It was the first anime series that I ever watched. That I distinctly knew was anime. Technically I watched Thundercats and that should be anime, but you know. I'll get the feeling people say Thundercats isn't anime just because they don't want me dressing up as Chitara. Sports. The first anime that I watched was actually the Ghost in the Shell film, the original movie. Now, someone going into this anime and having no clue about what it is, watching a woman strip naked jump off a building and then sort of disappear, was a bit of an eye-opener. I had no clue what was going on. I had no idea what the premise of Ghost in the Shell was. I just saw it in the game shop that my friend worked in, and I was like, this is that anime that people rave on about. Let's watch it. Q1 mindfuck later. Yeah, that same friend was pointed out, I think, and they said, oh, it's got giant mechs in it. I was like, sweet, giant mechs are my jam. It started off, I was like, this is awesome, and then it got partway through the series, and I'm like, Shinji, just shut up and get in the mech. Or get out the way and let somebody who wants to pilot get in. As an adolescent teen, I was very lost with why Shinji was the way he was. I know he has character and depth, but as an adolescent teen, I couldn't figure that out. and thinking about watching Anime Rise as well, I was sent a subbed copy of Read or Die, the TV series, which if you haven't watched it is brilliant. And I sat down and watched it in one sitting. So I received it in the post that morning, chucked it in, turned it on, just watched, and literally episode end, boot up next episode, so on and so forth. I'd only stopped watching to quickly run to the loo. I didn't even really get that much in the way of tea. That's how engrossed I was in it. I didn't actually go out and get cups of tea. Anyway, the mum calls me down for food at the end of the day, and I went down and she started talking to me, and I'm looking down to try and find the subtitle track, and I'm like, wait a minute, I shouldn't need a subtitle track, I should understand this language. It was at that moment I was like, have I watched too much? I then went upstairs and finished the last 2 episodes off. No, I should do. Getting a freaking robot Shinji. So yeah, when I got to college, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, do you like anime?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't mind. It's alright." I'm like, "Have you watched Dragon Ball?" I'm like, "No." And they'd look at me like, "Well, how can you say you watched anime if you've not seen Dragon Ball?" I'm like, "That doesn't grab my attention." Much in the same way that when Naruto came out, me and Caroline actually watched a few episodes of it. And we were like, "Yeah, it could be interesting to keep a watch on." And it got to a fight scene on I think it was a fight scene on a bridge, and it took like 3 episodes to explain what was going to happen, and they still hadn't started fighting, and we were both like, yeah, no, we had enough of this. We're here for the wanton destruction and storytelling. Note it in that order. But at least I give that a try before saying no. And I always think that Nanoha was the first Magical Girl show that I watched, but it's the first show that I watched that I knew was a Magical Girl show. I technically watched Cardcaptor Sakura first, but I only saw about 12, I think it was about 12 episodes of that. Because that's all we could get our hands on at the time. But we had no idea what was happening with that, why this little girl had this pet and this magic talking staff, and we were like, this is weird, we like it. And I got introduced to this Nanoha. And yeah, that started off just like every other Magical Girl show out there. You know, and then wasn't. But then thinking of magical girl shows that tend to buck the trend, you can't go without saying for Madoka. It's strange, it's only 3 episodes long, but hell of a ride for those 3 episodes. Even got a t-shirt out of it. One of the best ones at uni is just like that, asking about Bleach and One Piece, I responded clearly stuff like Planet Lovina, Chobits and like, oh, Chobits. That was fantastic. Well, I say was, it still is, but... Love Hina, I've seen some of, haven't seen the full series. I really should correct that one. And Clannad, oh dear. Pro tip, don't watch that when you're, you know, on a lunch break. I remember watching that episode. And I was on a lunch break. I thought, oh, I've got enough time to fit an episode in. Because I only worked at the pharmacy next door at the time. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I put the episode on having no clue what was coming. Then, you know, that happened. And those that have seen the series know exactly what I'm talking about. And I turned up to work a sobbing mess. And everyone at work's like, oh my god, are you okay? What's happened? And all this sort of stuff. And there's a friend there's like, oh. He said, did you watch? I was like, yeah. He said, was it episode? And I was like, yeah. He was like, oh. I was like, yeah, he'll be alright. Don't worry about him. Yeah, hit me right in the feels. So, they're just trying to add a bit of definition now to the brownie stuff. It's looking an absolute mess, but I kind of expected it to. I generally didn't expect this to turn out well, but worth a shot. You don't know unless you try. Remember, if at first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you. Now it's just got me thinking, like, what anime would you know, if you had to suggest anime for people, it's like, what would you go for? And the trouble with that kind of question, I suppose, is it's what are their tastes? Because it's no good, you know, getting someone to watch a comedy if they don't like comedy. Because as weird as the movie is, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex is actually a really good watch. Mostly because it has time to build up the characters and explain stuff and whatnot. And it was A show I definitely enjoy watching, and one that I heartily recommend to people who like that kind of stuff. But not everyone's into the cyberpunky, policey stuff. I wonder if there's a Ghost in the Shell cameo somewhere in Cyberpunk. Unlock a mullet as DLC or something like that. Oh. I forgot to shake it first. Oh. And the red's still quite powerful on this. Hopefully I can use the blue to blend it out a bit later. Actually, if I use the blue now, then I can try the darker colours. Right, so let's... Oh god, that's smudging everything. Oh, it's a unique colour. Give it that. Whatever it is, it certainly isn't blue anymore. This is how you blend with copies, right? Yeah. Interesting to see what colour that comes out on a piece of paper now. It's turning it blue. Ish. Get the feeling it's going to be one of those where I'll have to use a lot of the darker colour to try and hide the horrendous mess that it is now. Try to roll the pen along to get something there. Let's just clear that off again. Thankfully, relatively easy to clean. Yeah, I get the feeling it's one of these things I'm probably best off trying to learn how to do watercolours for stuff like this. That's another art medium, and I'm like, I'll just tackle one at a time, please. First suggestion, Bacano. I'm trying to think if I don't think I've seen that one, no. Cowboy Bebop, yeah, it's a regular one. Or Hellsing. I always recommend Uma Musume, Kemono Friends, Fair Mom Girls, and Black Lagoon. Yeah, Black Lagoon is one, as one says, it's easiest to sell to non-anime fans because it sort of caters towards a lot of what they'd probably watch. Because it's more based in reality, and I use that kind of relatively loosely. You know, at least it's something that, you know, they can understand more. Dark in places. Yeah, there is that, but most anime does that, to be honest. And even Kemono Friends technically got a little bit dark compared to the rest of the series at one point. I think they just put that kind of darkness in as a edge kind of thing. Alright, let's try. I remember I was at work and one of the guys stole the picture I had hanging up off my desk, which is the one I did a Serval. And he inquired about, you know, why it was called Serval. So I explained the premise of Kemono Friends and how he introduced me to Serval, and he was like, oh, hang on a second, I'll be right back. And he came back and he had pictures of him with bloody Servals. Apparently there's someone down in Devon who he knows that has Servals. I'm like, but I like anime that also teaches as well. You know, it's got more than just the meaning of watching it for cute fluffiness. Because before Kemono Friends, I had no idea what a bloody Serval was. I hadn't even heard of the damn thing. Or Sandcats. I had no idea what a Sandcat was. And then when I went to Bristol, there was one in the... Well, they had a few in Bristol Zoo actually, but there was one that I could see. Can't get photographs of them though, because obviously they're nocturnal creatures, so they're in the nocturnal exhibit. and trying to get the camera to take a picture with a pain in the backside, because yes, there was one walking around, but that was its problem. It was walking around. It's like, stay still long enough for me to get enough exposure on this, you little bazzer. Also, how many shows would start with shooting down a helicopter with a torpedo from a Vietnam VT boat in midair? Yeah. I think the other thing that helps Black Lagoon as well is it's got a good dub. It's one of those that I feel I can recommend to people because they can watch it either English or Japanese, and it's good. I'm happy to say I don't mind watching stuff in dub because I can actually pay attention to the visuals. And sometimes that's just as important as what's being said on other characters. Some people have difficulty with subs, so I'm all for dubs. It's just, I'm all for good dubs. There has been some horrendous ones, and I'm not just talking about in the past. Actually, I'm trying to think of some of the worst ones I've seen, but the problem is if I knew it had a bad dub, I didn't watch it with a dub. Yeah, I mean, I can understand how, like, some people don't like dubs for whatever reason, such like that. And that's absolutely fine. I suppose my biggest issue I have is the people who moan about dubs existing, and it's like, well, some people need them. And, it's like, oh, the DVD has a dub on it. Oh, I'm not going to get that. Like, it's a DVD, not a VHS. It's not like you have to have the dub on. But yeah, I can get why you might have, like, issues with it and stuff like that, and that's, fine. It's like I know people who will only watch stuff in sub. And if that's how you like your anime, then go for it. Remember, I used to be part of the local anime club. We used to have discussions about which was better, sub and dub, and it's just like, does it matter? it's important to know, does it have a good dub? You know, is it watchable without cringing? And of course you have the usual, the manga's better. Yeah, of course, but, you know, with a manga they've got time to do what they need to do. They can flash stuff out. And if you want a modern example of how mangas can flash stuff out and take longer, read the manga of Battle Angel Alita and see just how much they skipped out on for the film. And I liked the film. I thought it was, you know, a really good adaptation of. But there's so much they skipped out on because, well, there's only so much you can tell an audience in a set period of time. And you either don't advance the plot and include all the little extra filler bits, or you fudge what you can with it and roll out with the rest. And hope that you don't annoy too many people. Take a lower cost products and no dubs. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot more of that coming out recently. You know, I've got a lot here that's come out, which is they've just released the translated version with subs only, and that's, you know, fine. You know, and you've got like a full collector's set for the same price as most of the series and stuff. It's just I like the idea of having the choice, because sometimes I actually want to have it playing, and as I said, I want to watch it or I want to do something else, but should dealt with in the past. Stardup's version of Transformers Headmasters, can't say I recall that one. Samurai Pizza Cat. So it's a Mad Lib, yeah. Oh, what was that other one? There's like that ghost hunting one, which they basically ad-libbed everything on. I forget which one it is, but yeah, they ad-libbed the whole thing because ghost stories. Yeah, got someone who's what I'm all about. And it's one of those things that I'm glad that you can get the subversion, so you can actually try and pay attention to what's actually supposed to happen. But for a giggle, you've actually got the other version, and it's, you know, not too bad. Well, I'll say not too bad. It's atrocious if you're trying to follow the story, but oh, fuck it, just ugh. I remember after watching Cardcaptor Sakura, I went out to try and see if I could get it, and at the time there wasn't any DVDs of it. And I thought, no worries, I'm sure I'll be able to, you know, find them somewhere. And then I saw that they were releasing this thing called Cardcaptors, and it looked the same. I was like, oh, it must be the same. So I went out and got it, and I watched the first episode. I'm like, what the hell have I just watched? Pro tip, it wasn't Cardcaptor Sakura, I'll give you that. That's a definite instance of a really bad dub. And I just dread to imagine people using that as a entryway and thinking that's what all anime was this awfully dubbed, butchered story. Or even worse, those that get into it and enjoyed it and then found out about Cardcaptor Sakura and think that that's like a weird rip-off of it. I suppose in the end, it's whatever you like, you know, whatever is your enjoyment and your take from it. That's the most important thing. You know, as long as you can enjoy what you're watching, then who cares how you watch it? I think in a way I was kind of lucky that I didn't have access to like 4Kids and stuff like that, because that was like satellite cable, and I didn't have that as a kid. I was one of the poor kids. We were just terrestrial. But yeah, they were done back in the day where, you know, they cared more about just chucking something that could be vaguely entertaining on, you know, actually caring too much about the source. And as you say, you know, if you've got people interested in it, then brilliant. Harmony Gold. Yep. I knew they'd come at some point. Ay. I don't get how someone can have a license and then do squat with it and still be allowed the license. I'm sure there should be like a clause there that says, you know, if you're going to do this, then you have to, you know, be active with the license and release. You don't just sit on it and go, oh, we own it. Also, if I'm right in thinking, isn't it just basically like a US license that they have? So you could technically, if you could find a British studio to do it that way, or is that me misreading stuff? Because yeah, if I won the lottery, I'd be doing that. You release a new licensed version to everywhere except the United States because Harmony Gold. So that, or you go to China and get them to release something, you know, get back in English, dubbing everything done, but do it all in China and have it released from there, because, you know, they just don't give two hoots about copyright. Well, international rights. Boo! But yeah, I said if it was my way, I'd be sort of challenging them about it because they don't do anything. Right, let's start putting some greys to build up a star background. Yeah, that should do. Oh, wait, I can't blend that in, that's a bit annoying. I'll blend it in using the other side. No, but at least it looks slightly better, so I'll do that. I wonder if that's the same with the Girls and Panzerdub as well, that it's like a international gubbins, because that's something I want to do, is basically redo Girls and Panzer and actually have, you know, the proper music in. And not change it out to the Tetris thing because some wankshaft has decided to copyright it in the United States. There's a they're obscure and a company that could produce material outside of the UK. Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, I thought Catgon you can do quite an English dub. I can't remember what show I watched. It may have been Read or Die TV. I'm not sure, I'd have to check again. But I remember that the typical, learning English class in the school was actually replaced with a learning Japanese class. So they were, still keeping that what was going on and such like that, but they basically changed it that they were learning Japanese, and I thought that was a really cool touch to it. I just can't remember if it was Read or Die TV or not. I do remember actually watching the audio commentary on Read or Die TV, and they were going on about how in the first episode there's a call over like a police radio, and they wanted it to sound authentic as it could. So they were doing various mixes and this, that, and the other, trying to figure out what sounded the best. And eventually someone said, why don't you just get a walkie-talkie and stick one next to the recording microphone and speak through it? And they're like, oh, yeah, we could try that. That helps blended it a bit. Or is it put some bloody ink on the paper? My hand's sticking to the damn stuff. Hopefully this is light enough to cover all the bits that I want to be somewhat dark. Basically, you get a solid tax rotation and had a preposterous amount of money to burn. You could pump cash into a company like Anime Limited to get localization licenses, as well as distribution, and do a lot of that in the UK instead. Go to break the LA lost. Please, but you'd lose a shit ton of money. Yes. Yeah, it's definitely it'd be a money sink. No two ways about it on that one. Which again, it's a bit of a shame because it would certainly shake things up a bit. Yeah, it looks nothing like what it's supposed to look like. Yeah. Well, it's not the right colour, I need a dark. But where's black? Come here. Oh, you have a dark brown. Oh, no, that's... I don't think I actually use the black all that much, to be honest. I'm normally doing my art. If I need black, I use the pens. Streaky as all hell. Huzzah! Where's my pen? There it is. Where is this new cast? Paul Darrell's Kindle. Paul Darrell. Ooh. I get the feeling the name should ring a bell, but at the moment my brain is like burp. Oops, that one went wrong. Oopsie. Brain had a slight fart on there. This is why I keep tissue handy. That and the fact that my nose runs like a tap. I'll have to clean it up with some markers after. Herp. Okay, scratch that one. Brain had a slight fart. I want to do a slightly harder push to get the star out. And Brain went, push! Push all the way! I was like, oh, I won't do that. Ooh, you're an odd-looking star. Oh, it's actually leaking. No! Oh, that's because the nibs come loose. Not good, not good, not good. Stop leaking, stop leaking. Yeah, getting white paint everywhere. Luckily I have more than one pen, but now I need to try and repair this. Okay, I'll have to get my other pen out. That's a bit annoying. One of the oldest of British sci-fi, Hunting Voice Sampler, someone good sound of skills into. Oh, okay. It's probably the kind of thing that as soon as I hear the voice, I'll be like, oh, yeah. Like none of it ever happened. Okay, unos momentos. Let me just quickly go grab my other pen. Right. So there is actually some you can see through here. Let's try and include them. It's a messy star. Include it on the parts that I want to be background. And then I want to try and create highlighty edges in areas to make it look like they're very, very bright and they're just popping. Alright. Send me the pen flying, that's okay. I think I'm gonna pretty much call it there on this. I'd probably say it's okay. Definitely not how I was hoping it would turn out, but then again I was also hoping it would turn out and be relatively easy to do, which was a mistake because it wasn't going to be easy at all. Try and neaten it up a bit at the top where it looks a bit weird. Oh god, yeah, that looks fucking awful. He says, I'm going to finish this, and then carries on adjusting parts. But yes, I will let all that have a good dry, and I will then get a scanned copy and post it up. It's not brilliant, but it was an experiment, and I'm kind of glad I did it on a separate bit of paper rather than, you know, ruin an image trying to do it as a background. 5 billion years of fluid dynamics isn't easy to do in an evening. Yeah, funny that. But you know, it was interesting to give it a go. And use colours I probably would never touch again, just because they're not in the colour palette I normally use. So, I hope you have all enjoyed the time here. And yes, I shall catch up with you all on next streaming on Friday, which will be Nier Automata, as we continue playing as Nines. I'll also be joining Tsubasa Ray at some point, hopefully this week, for The Division. We had to hold it off as he wasn't feeling too great, so when we're all ready, we'll be diving through into The Division again. And then on Saturday, we might be going back to Phasmophobia, just to have more of a muck around with the new patch. They did release a patch which has brought out some new changes to the game. One of which is that the sink is no longer an objective. You still get points if the ghost dirties the water, but it's no longer an objective for you to have to achieve, so it makes things a bit easier in that respect. But they've also added a temperature mechanic, so that if the power's off, all rooms start to cool down. And if the power's on, all the rooms get warmer, apart from the one that the ghost is in. So you sort of like need the power on to find where the ghost is and such. Oh, and the ghost can open doors. So that's definitely. So if you just run into a cupboard and hide whilst the ghost is hunting, the ghost can open the door. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to trying that out. So yeah, that might be Saturdays. Just as a bit of a shake-up from Deep Rock, or it might do some more Payday. We'll see what happens. So yes, I shall quit yabbering, and I shall let you all get off. And again, thank you very much for joining me, and I do hope you have an enjoyable rest of the evening / morning, depending on when or where you're watching this. And I shall catch up with you all on the next stream. Toodles.